Hi, Tony. How are
Hey,
you?
Rachel. Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. So to start, I want to point out that I didn't even do this on purpose, but I am drinking out of my Knives Out
Oh,
mug
nice. Nice.
today. Because I do love this kind of world that Ryan Johnson has been creating, especially with like murder mysteries.
Yeah.
But with a show like Poker Face, what is so exciting is we had a very clear vision in season one, and then season two, you get to kind of upend that because it's a completely different world for Charlie. What for you was the most challenging part of getting to, run things in season two and see how different it is when she's not on the run from Benjamin Bratt the entire time?
Yeah. I mean, I was pretty excited about it when we, because we did inherit from season one, um, a nice dramatic dilemma. It's like, okay, Charlie finds herself on the run again with this, a new scary kind of big bad. And you kind of go in and you think, well, okay, we're gonna, kind of do another version of what they did in season one, or that the show did. And then Ryan and I were talking about, well, wouldn't it be interesting to actually, like, if that got resolved earlier than you expect, and then you get to actually then still have Charlie on the road, but of her own volition, and where it's a little bit more, I don't know, like I thought of it as an existential road trip in a way, like this old school of just like out on the open road and trying to see what the world has to offer and trying to find her place in the world. And that as an in to these episodes was less daunting than just kind of exciting, I think.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you too. Like, obviously, there's been the comparisons to Columbo because Natasha is just the reincarnation of Peter Falk in my mind. But when you are doing a show like this, do you ever have one of those one-off characters or one of the like the victim and or the person who killed them that you're like, I'm really upset I can only write one episode for this person? And like, if you did, who was your favorite in season two that you guys did?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, there's definitely like there's worlds I wouldn't mind like spending more time in. I mean, I wouldn't be against doing a whole spin-off show just around Simon Helberg's FBI character and John Mulaney and just all of these kind of lunatics that working for our version of the FBI, like that. That was fun. I mean, like a whole show set at the elementary school, is that could be a high drama. I mean, you could do a mod, like some of those little kids there. I mean, you could do a modern day House of Cards, but it's elementary school students, where there's the kind of cutthroat ruthlessness. So yeah, sometimes like the exciting about the show is like you get to just jump into new worlds. But yeah, sometimes you're just like, oh man, or like, I was like Melanie Linsky, I think is one of the best performers going, and it's just like, boy, like sure would, is there any way to like just bring that character back so I can just watch her act again?
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to ask too, what I love about Charlie is she is so specific because like she has the classic car. I bought that Fleetwood Mac shirt that she
Yeah.
rocked in season one. Like she is such a specific kind of person that you just know who she is right off the bat just by like kind of looking at her and what she chooses to wear and function
Mhm.
with. How was the process working with Natasha, who, originated this role and worked with Ryan and with working with Ryan to make sure that Charlie was still as charismatic and the kind of woman that we loved watching in season one, but while putting her in these new situations in season
Yeah.
two?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Like very much it's like I come in like the writer's room is very much like downloading Ryan's brain in terms of what does how does an episode of what makes an episode of Poker Face an episode of Poker Face? And there's certain structural elements, there's some tonal elements, there's just a general approach to scenes, and you work on that. But then when you transition into actual production, you're really in a lot of ways you're entering then into really Natasha's domain. I mean, she's involved in, she co-wrote an episode and she'd come into the writer's room, but really like the thing I learned about the show is very much a marriage of Ryan's sensibilities and Natasha's sensibilities. And so, in a way, like we carried the scripts in, but then Natasha brings so much of the aesthetic and soul and